It is a beautiful open fire Friday here at the Oasis, global headquarters of Galley of the Sun. And I'm about to fire up my Argentine grill to make some boozy Hawaiian pork roast. Stay tuned. So as you can see, the fire is going. I have a chimney full of charcoal ready to go, so I'm ready to start cooking right now, and then the wood's going to provide the embers later on. So let's get the pork ready. So full disclosure, in my perfect world, and we know it's not a perfect world, because if it was, Denise Richards would have been in the shower scene of Starship Troopers.
You're damned right.
Sadly, she wasn't. So I wanted a 4 to 5 pound boneless pork roast or pork butt. And alas, they didn't have any at the store. You can go with bone in, but if you're going to cook at rotisserie like we're doing today, that makes it awful tricky to get your skewer through there so you can get your spit through there and finding the center mass. So I ended up going with, they had two 2-pound boneless pork butts there, and they're already netted for me. I don't have to worry about putting the twine on the roast to hold it together, which you're most likely going to have to do if you're going with a boneless roast. So, simple prep for this. Now, dear friends, the recipe. Down below in the description, there's going to be a link, take you to galleyofthesun.com. All the ingredients or amounts and the directions are right there in that recipe. So, I have a mixture here of white pepper and sea salt. That's all I'm going to use initially to season these. That Hawaiian, the boozy Hawaiian part of the roast is going to come from the basting sauce that we make shortly after we get this onto the spit. Make sure we get this seasoned on all sides. All right, now we use our skewer to make our pilot hole and get it right through the center mass of these butts. Right about there. Whoop, didn't like that. That one I like. Okay, perfect. All right, let's get them on the spit. As I've talked about before, you always want to get your spit onto your rotisserie first and make sure you know where you want that first fork, because it's a pain in the ass once the meat's on there to change the position of the meat with those forks. So we're going to use those pilot holes and go right through with our spit. Look how easy that was. Now, we're going to make sure that we get it firmly on these forks because these roasts will shrink as they cook. Second fork's in place, got it good and tight. Now over to the grill. I'm going to take my lumped charcoal, spread that. Right below where those roasts are going to be. And let's get our meat on. And I do have that centered exactly where I want it to be, right above that fire. So, for the rest of the time, what my goal is going to be is to keep coals under here to where this point right here is, I can only keep my hand there for about 8 to 10 seconds before I have to pull it away because of the heat. Now I know if you're doing a 4 to 5 pound roast, this is going to take about 4 hours because we're going to take this up to 185 degrees. If we were doing pulled pork, we'd go to 203, it would shred. But I want to have slices of this, so we're going to stop at about 185. As always, we give it a real quick look for its first rotation to make sure that we do have the center of the mass and that it turns smoothly. All right, and I'm happy with that. So, I'm going to get cleaned up, get reset, and we'll be back to make the sauce. See you then. Before we make the sauce, a little bit of housekeeping. If you're a frequent viewer of Galley of the Sun, you know that I am not going off a script. I'm just winging it every freaking episode. So sometimes I get a little excited, and I did before, and I forgot to get the temperature probes in there. I do want to know what the temperature of those roasts are. One, so I know when it gets to 185. Two, so I know when I'm halfway through the cook, about 120, that's when I want to start applying the sauce we're about to make. So I'm going to use my Temp Spike Pro wireless thermometers and get them into each end of the roast. You want to be careful to get them all the way in there, especially when you're dealing with a boneless pork roast, because there's going to be some gaps in there. Also, you don't want to be touching the rod.
It sounds dirty, but it's not.
Because that's going to give you an inaccurate temperature. So I'm happy where I have those positioned. Let's get to making that sauce. So into my trusty Starfrit The Rock cooking pot, I'm going to add my brown sugar. Only four ingredients here. My soy sauce, my pineapple juice, and my pineapple whiskey. We're using Ensign Red pineapple whiskey for this. There's a Canadian distiller out there, Revelstoke. They make a roasted pineapple whiskey. Oh my God, that stuff's incredible. But they don't make it very often, and when they do, it's limited. So I always try and stock up. But I haven't seen any for about, I don't know, 6 months. I'm missing it. Hey, if you're watching, Revelstoke folks, get to making that roasted pineapple whiskey. Now I'm going to fire this thing up to medium-high heat. I'm going to stir frequently. I want to bring it to a simmer and let it simmer there for about 5 minutes. We're looking for the consistency of just a little bit thinner than syrup. Once we have this, I'm going to divide this into two. One, I'm going to set aside for the basting. The other half is going to be if people want some extra sauce, and they will on their pork. So I'm going to get this made, and we'll be back when it's time to start the basting process. We'll see you then. We're about 2.5 hours in. My pork roasts have reached about 120, 125 degrees. Now we start the basting with that incredible sauce we made earlier. I'm going to continue to baste those pork roasts every 10 minutes or so until they reach an internal temperature of 185 degrees. Then we're going to get them off the spit. We're going to let them rest for at least 15 to 30 minutes, and then we'll get that netting off, we'll get them carved up, and we'll get some judgment. So we'll see you then. Got the pork roasts inside, let them rest for 15 minutes. Now let's get these sliced up and get some judgment. They are smelling amazing. That's a good sign. Time to get some judgment for my sister Sarah, both with and without the sauce, and we'll find out how we did.
Oh man, it looks good.
Well, that's good.
That looks really good. Ooh, I want that piece right there.
Without the sauce? Did the baste really come through?
I think it did. And it's also extremely tender.
Okay. Do you want to try it with the sauce?
Of course.
I got you a fork there so you can...
Be civilized.
Because we're very civilized at the Galley of the Sun.
That is very good.
All right. Hey, there you go. Boozy Hawaiian roast pork. Give it a try. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we see you next time, fair winds and following seas.